It could be now or never for Pokémon ports. My god, Pokémon ports are something I've been huffing the hopium with for a good few years now. I've had them on my Pokémon Day Presents bingo card for the last 3 years at least, and what do you know, there it is again on this year's. The great thing about older Pokémon games is that they still hold up pretty well. Aside from the lack of modern day conveniences like the XP share and the existence of HMs, they're still a fun play. And I really want to re-experience those older games on a bigger screen, on modern hardware. But I feel like if we don't get them for the 30th anniversary, it might just be the case that we never get them, in that raw form anyway. That they're instead going to be committing to remakes of those older titles instead. Remakes are great, but they fulfill a different purpose. Remakes are reimaginings, and ports are preservations. And Pokémon, in my opinion, desperately needs some preservation efforts right now. For me, a classic collection makes a lot of sense. Other franchises have been doing it. It's a clean way to drop a bunch of your old games out there and make a quick buck off some nostalgia at the same time. It's kind of a win-win for everyone involved. Generations 1 to 3 are ripe for the pickings as well. Maybe even with a cheeky Pokémon pinball in there too. The DS games are a much more difficult undertaking, because obviously they were developed on dual screens. I'm still leaning on the tinfoil theory that the reason the Switch 2 has a second USB-C port on the top is because there's going to be a second screen accessory for Nintendo DS game ports at some point in the future. But yeah, when you think about the catalogue that's just sitting there, it's kind of absurd just how much of Pokemon's history is just locked away, without owning ancient hardware. That pains me to say because that means I'm ancient as well. Or paying silly money on the second-hand market. There is no way to legally buy and play so many of Pokemon's early classics. There's probably a whole generation now that has just never played Johto or Hoenn. That's not something that's unique to Pokemon by any stretch, but it is kind of insane for the largest media franchise on the planet. It's kind of bizarre that much smaller franchises are getting legacy collections and Pokemon isn't. The 30th anniversary is the perfect marketing excuse as well. It's one of those milestones where they don't even have to throw out any flowery language to justify it. From a business standpoint, this is such low-hanging fruit, it's ridiculous. Big anniversary, classic titles on modern hardware. That kinda sells itself. If we don't get this for the 30th anniversary, I genuinely think the window starts to close. Because after that, the focus will shift onto Gen 10, Gen 11, new remakes, new Legends titles, and that opportunity to say, let's take a moment to celebrate the history properly, will quietly pass us by. It'll become one of those, yeah, they should really do that one day, things that never actually happens. One possibility that's been on my mind recently, and it's a slim possibility most likely, but could a lot of these older games get the Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl Faithful Remake treatment, with a port of the original game also on the cartridge? So imagine we get a Glistening Gold and Shimmering Silver, those are terrible names, but then on the main menu of those Faithful remakes, there's the option to play the original Gold and Silver. I always say my toxic trait is that I criticize BDSP as much as the next Pokemon fan, but in reality, if I had the option of buying BDSP style remakes for gens 1 through 5, I would probably open my wallet without too much pushback. That's kind of how badly I want to play these games on modern hardware. But I also do want more than that. I was gutted that BDSP wasn't made in the Sword and Shield engine. And especially with Kanto, I think Kanto needs a hell of an expansion. I think it needs bringing into the modern era with a complete reimagining. But yeah, I guess doing it that way would be a way to get something out there that feels fresh and modern, like Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and with all the modern bells and whistles, while also being like, hey, you want to have a go at the OG experience? It's right here on the main menu of this very same cartridge. Or keycard maybe, that's the way they're all heading now, isn't it? But I'm still holding out hope that Game Freak will go with either a classic collection that bundles a bunch of the older games together, or separate ports that aren't too expensive to buy separately. I feel like a lot of this stems from me wanting to play through Johto again. It's my favourite region, and it hasn't been touched in over 15 years now. That's crazy. Above all else as well, it'd just be so interesting to know the reason why ports haven't happened yet, because there will be a reason. I very much doubt that it's something they simply haven't had conversations about. It could be that they just have some sort of remake or remaster plans for the older games. But as I mentioned earlier, I do think there's an importance in preservation of those original versions. It'd be sad to see them completely lost to time. Let's see if anything gets thrown at us on Pokemon Day.